Hello guys! Oh, it genuinely feels so good to be here. It feels so good to be back, and even just to be doing these chats. I've realized how much I've missed just like sitting down, having catch up, having chats with you guys, and just kind of speaking different things that are on my mind or different things that are going on in life and catching up with you all. It just genuinely feels so bloody nice and so bloody good. Today, I have got my coffee. No lasagna today. But this mug, guys, so nostalgic. When I pulled this out and I went to pour it, it's very old and very crusty. But this, when I used to do my coffee chats like way back in the day, I think I brought these out when I did my coffee chats. Would make sense if I did. But when I used to do my merch, it must be too early for wine. This mug, honestly, gold. Today is a little bit of a different chat. I've ummed and ahed about like what I want to call this episode, and I think I'm going to call it the story of the girl who got greedy. In this day and age, it is so easy to look on the internet, online, everywhere you turn, and to compare yourself to the next person. And I feel like there's this lie that we are continually fed that our life isn't good enough as it is right now and that we should always be chasing more or wanting more. Lately, I've really been leaning into this more chill lifestyle. You guys have probably noticed I'm back to enjoying the beautiful morning sunrises with my kids. I'm back to just the simple life of enjoying the little things and not so much continually striving for these big, massive things and missing them all while I was. When I was in that mindset and constantly striving for the next thing, I was letting the best parts of my life slip through my fingers, and that's honestly how I feel. So rather than joining the rat race, I had decided to take a huge step back. Firstly, let's chat about why more isn't always better. Sure, having 6 businesses, a bucket load of friends, unlimited supply of money, 100 handbags, all sounds very appealing. But let's go a little bit deeper. Coming from a girly who has had huge goals, huge dreams, huge ambitions, and ran herself to the ground and made herself burnt out more times than I can count over the years, throwing myself into situations where I bit off more than I could chew. It is not always what it's summed up to be. In fact, the more I started to gain, the less I felt like myself. The further and further I felt from who I actually genuinely was. And in turn of that, the more unhappy I felt, because rather than having time to enjoy the beautiful mundane moments in life, I was constantly in this rat race of more. I wasn't enjoying the now, and I wasn't tuning in to myself anywhere near as much. It's crazy because I'd like carve out time for me, times try to meditate, or I'd carve out time to try to do this. And it wasn't working because I needed to actually adjust my entire life. I needed to adjust my entire life to be happy. No matter how many books I read, no matter how much I took me time or went to a spa or did this or did that, it wasn't working because they are all just things. What I needed was to actually live a life that felt more aligned with my values and who I actually was. Having multiple businesses sounds really great in theory. But I'll tell you what I have learned is whenever I put my effort into the things that I genuinely love and that light me up in such a way, things like YouTube. I started YouTube as a hobby. I did it so much at the start, and it was purely because of my love for it. I loved it so much that I did videography for years, and like just having that connection with you guys. YouTube doesn't even feel like, that's not even a job. Like this is just like my happy space whenever I come on here. Like I absolutely adore it. Same thing goes for Instagram. It is so great. It's something I don't need to think about. I just literally rock up, like chat with you guys, tell you what's going on with my day, and I just get that like beautiful connection. Like, you guys are always saying to me like I make you feel valid in your situations. But what you guys probably don't realize is you actually do the same for me. So when I go on there, I'm like, oh my gosh, my kids have been awake so early, blah, blah, blah. I get a message back from another mum being like, something must be in the air today. Is there a full moon? Like I'm going through the exact same thing, and I get that exact same comfort back, and it is the most beautiful thing. So back a few years ago, when that was my focus and I was doing YouTube during the day, and I would kind of, you know, float between however many videos a week felt right for me at the time. Instagram every day, just pop on, like I said, so easy, does not feel like work. And then Love Ellis Rose, pack the orders each night once the kids go to bed. I truly felt like that was such a beautiful balance, and I feel like that's when my life was at the peak. When Love Ellis Rose was still smallish, we were at home, which as you guys probably know now, we've reverted back to. We're going back to basics in all area of life. I had minimal staff, I was at home with my kids all the time, and yeah, I could just work in around them. I'd get up at 4 AM every morning, edit my YouTube videos, and I was, don't get me wrong guys, I used to have people people messaging me being like, how are you doing this? I was buzzing off the walls to get up at that time and edit because I loved doing it so much, and I wanted to have the day with my kids, and I felt so grateful and so lucky that I could get up in the morning and get that done and then have the day spare to spend with my kids. And then yeah, each night Kurt and I would jump in the garage and pack orders together. We'd stay up, have a wine, have a beer if we had like a massive day, and just get it done. But what happened was it got to this point where YouTube was picking up, Instagram was picking up, Love Ellis Rose was picking up, and I started to feel so good. It was almost addictive because I felt like for once I was contributing, not only that, but connecting with so many other amazing people, which is great. But what I did from there was I continually kept trying to grow and grow and grow, which I think is really pushed online. And yes, I understand if that's the avenue you want to go down, that is great. But also, if you're someone like me and you are kind of having that gut feeling deep down inside where you're like, I don't know if I want that lifestyle, this is a video to let you know that that's okay. I got into this rat race, heaps of you guys probably remember this, where every single morning I would wake up and I'd listen to motivational videos. Every single day without a doubt, when I was doing my makeup, I was listening to motivational videos, and they weren't ones about like, listen to your gut, blah, 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 blah. They were like, hustle, 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 push, 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 next goal, this, you gotta work harder, do this. Like, they were the hardcore motivational chats. So basically on the daily, I was hearing that I was not good enough and to keep trying harder. Push for your goals and don't settle. And man, did I push. I grew our little business that we ran at home into this warehouse. We had loads more staff. We ended up opening a shop front, and I even had my husband be able to take some time off work for 3.5 years and come over and help out with the running of the business and also help out with the kids. This life still felt pretty fulfilling because I did get to be with Kurt a lot of the time, and you guys know, like, I feel like we're probably that couple that people look at and like, like we are obsessed with each other. We love being together. You know, I've had people throw around words like codependent and stuff like that, but like I just fucking genuinely love him so much, and he's my absolute best friend, and I would rather spend time with him than I would anyone else, and that's just my reality. I'd rather spend time with him and my kids, I should say, than anyone else. Like, I'm just so happy when I'm with him. He is my person. Then I had an offer to start a podcast as well, and I knew that I probably would have bitten off more than I could chew if I started this podcast. So in turn of that, I pulled back on YouTube. This is where I went wrong. This has always been the place where I feel like I have felt really content when I'm putting my focus on YouTube, and kind of everything else is like the extra things on the side. So like Instagram's the extra on the side, Love Ellis Rose is the extra on the side, but like this, whenever YouTube is my sole focus, I am the most happy. I bawled the day that we went to sign the contract because I knew in my gut that it was going to be too much, but we had a chat around everything and how we could make it work and make it be really easy and just like a fun little extra thing. But I should have listened to my gut, because in that moment, on reflection, I definitely knew that it was going to be too much for me to take on. Connecting with you guys on YouTube was where so much of my joy came from, and shifting from that to my new venture just didn't feel as fulfilling. And it was just a really different type of feel. Even the push around trying to hit different numbers and different goals, it was a lot heavier again than what I'd experienced. Even with listening daily to the motivational talks and pushing myself, I feel like the push with the numbers and the this and the that and the stats was always such a big goal, where previously, especially when it came to like YouTube and stuff, that was not something that I really focused on. Like, it was great when it happened, but it wasn't my focus. My focus was more about being proud of the content that I put out. At this point as well, we decided to close down the shop because having a shop, turns out, is a little bit of a burden, guys. So with the shop as well, we ended up having the warehouse in the back of it and then the shop front in the front. But with having 3 kids, it was huge. If we had staff that were calling in sick, we'd have to be going in there and working. And now with this new venture, I was up in Brisbane a lot more, and I was just a lot more busy. I was a lot more tied up in phone calls, computer work, setting things up, invoicing, going to here, going to there, photo shoots, time to sit down and work out, you know, different products we want to launch, product launches. It was really a lot more, I guess, a lot more busy than what I had ever had before, because previously my busy had always still been prioritized around my family. It never ever ate into my family time or me missing out on significant days and things like that. Whereas at this point in my life where I had all these different things going on, yeah, I missed out on so many things that I regret. So many school events. I was even gone a good chunk of Regan's birthday because I had a photo shoot, and I really regret that. So although we no longer had the shop, I still had staff to manage, 3 kids, YouTube, Instagram, editing, orders to pack, Love Ellis Rose website to manage, Grow and Glow website to manage, customer service for Love Ellis Rose, customer service for Grow and Glow, accounting for Love Ellis Rose, accounting for Grow and Glow, invoicing for Love Ellis Rose, invoicing for Grow and Glow. Kurt helped out a lot, he really truly did, but also he was running around a lot with the kids because I wasn't around anymore. Stock to look after, supplier chats, supplier emails going back and forth, but more than anything, for the first time in my life, I was needing more and more time away from my husband and my kids. And it wasn't just the 2 days a month where, you know, we would go and stay away for the night and stay there for the 2 days, but it was the fact of these little things that would always be popping up, the emails that I need to get back to, the back and forth messages. It was just like I was looking back at my old life and going, I miss just being able to switch off and live that more mundane, chill life, because I'm literally not around. I'm not present. Like, even if I am physically here, my brain is somewhere else, or I'm on my phone so much, or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And I hated it. I hated it. And this, my friends, is when I started having multiple meltdowns. I kept saying to heaps of people how much I was struggling and how I didn't know how I was going to keep up. And what I kept doing was not listening to what I actually knew and trying to please everyone else around me. I kept doing less on YouTube, showing up less on my Instagram stories, doing the things that are actually like easy and that I genuinely love and enjoy, and doing everything else to please everyone else. And because there was all these things that were set in place, I felt like I had no escape. Not only that, but I didn't want to let my staff down. I didn't want to let business partners down. And there was a lot of things that I have obviously put the time in and effort to learn how to like run websites and do invoicing and do accounting and do those things. But a lot of the time it all fell on me because no one else really knew how to do it all. I just felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders and I had way too much responsibility. And this is a thing that sometimes comes with, you know, having these huge goals and these huge things. And yes, some women thrive and they absolutely love it. And like I said before, there is nothing wrong with that. But I know what my values are, and my values is like to be calm. To be calm and feel grounded, to be spending as much time as I can with my kids and my husband and the people that I love the most, to not be snappy and burnt out, but to be present and, you know, happy, just to feel like so genuinely happy and like me, like myself. Obviously at this time as well, I still had a mortgage to pay. I had a lot of financial responsibilities. I had 3 kids in private school. I had all the staff wages to cover, including mine and my husband's as well. And I knew when I made this choice to take a step back that so many other people's lives around me was going to change as well as my own. But all I wanted was my old life back. And the old Keiara that focused on cooking healthy meals and getting out for a walk and having picnics in the backyard and waking up early with the kids and watching the sunrise in the backyard and jumping in the pool for a swim and going searching in the bushes with the kids for snails and bugs and having time to just sit with my husband and snuggle with him on the couch and watch a movie. I wanted that old Keiara and life back so much. And honestly, this is like where I was so glad I ended up like speaking and being really open and honest with Kurt about everything, and he was feeling the exact same way. He wanted his old wife back and the old mother of his children too. I just wanted a life again where I felt like I didn't have so much pressure. Sure, so happy to financially contribute and to help out and do this and do that, but I wanted to go back to the core of what I was doing, was being my kid's mum. And let me tell you, making this choice was the best choice I ever could have made. I had things I had to let go of, and I had to adapt to this brand new way of doing things as well. Okay, you can come have a cuddle, babe. Oh. Hello. I will soon. I'm filming some videos. You having fun with Grandma? I have Kurt's mum here today, guys, so she is watching Rigi while I film a few of these videos. But yes, my husband had to go back to work. I had to let go of staff. But other than that, it was really just stuff. And mostly materialistic things. With Kurtie going back to work, that was really the change that gave me the opportunity to go back to living the way that I used to. And I'm so grateful for him to had, you know, been more than happy to go back into that role after having, you know, such a big lifestyle shift as well. But having that financial help made me feel like I didn't really need to push anymore. Not only that, but it kind of left me with no choice but to lean more into that life, because I didn't have him around anymore to pick up the slack. I had to be there to focus on the kids because there was no one else there. I had to be there for every pickup. I had to be there for every drop off. I had to make sure their lunches were made. I had to get their washing done, put their uniforms out, cook their dinner. And like, I'm smiling saying all this because I know so many people listen to this and potentially cringe, but after going a period of time without that and focusing so heavily on my career, nothing makes me feel happier. I feel like I'm just living that mundane life again that is so bloody good. I have so much more time again to just enjoy life and enjoy the mundane things that I used to, like the little picnics and having more time to catch up and see the people that I love most. Slow PJ days. And more than anything, I just feel so much more connected to myself and I feel so much more calm and grounded again. I'm not that frazzled, overworked here, that, there, everywhere, screen constantly. I'm just like, I'm here, I'm present. And I just, yeah, I know I've said that for the last like couple months whenever anyone asks, like I just feel so connected with me again, but that's exactly how I feel. Anyway, I wanted to share my story today to maybe just make someone stop and be like, wow, my life is actually pretty neat, because I know there's so much noise out there telling us to continually push. And I feel like it almost makes you not feel grateful for where you're at in a way, because you're always striving for the next thing. But I hope for this video to be this little pick me up for you to listen to and be like, no, my life's actually pretty bloody good. And feel okay if you have that more slow paced life and you thoroughly enjoy it. Like, that's okay. Like, I took a lot of sacrifice to be back in this position. And if I listened to my gut truly at the start, then I would have known all those years ago just not to do it. But I didn't. And that's my lesson. So even if your life doesn't feel like enough, but you are genuinely happy and you're thriving, or even if you're on the opposite end and you feel like you're striving, maybe this video will make you go, what is it really all for, and am I genuinely happy? So anyways guys, that's my little coffee chat Tuesday. I feel like this one was a bit longer than what I anticipated, and this is the cool thing about these. I don't come on here and be like, it has to be this long, or it has to be this short, or it has to be for this long, for this many, you know, it's not like that. It's not calculated. It's just whatever I want to talk about, I'm going to come on here and chat about, and however long the video is how long the video is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I love you so much, and I will see you next week.